Hello and welcome to Coffee with Dr. Carla. I'm Dr. Carla and I have ℂ𝕆𝔼𝔼 here with me today. We are so glad that you're here with us, joining us as we start to talk about a few mental health related issues and the stigma surrounding them. So we're going to talk about what it means to show up as your authentic self. And that terminology is something that I hear a lot. I don't know that everybody fully understands what it means to be their authentic self. So I'm curious that when you hear that, what does that mean to you, or what does that bring to mind for you?
I think for me the thing that comes up the most is not having to remember the character.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I have my professional voice and I have my relaxed at home or with my friend's voice, and in trying to like make sure I'm using the right voice in the right space was like becoming a thing. And I was like, it's just going to be one voice. It's going to be one voice. It's my voice. This is the voice I have. This is the voice that's good enough. I heard a podcast and the lady was saying like, I don't have to mold myself for you to accept my expertise. I am an expert because I'm trained and because I've studied and I've done the work, and that's what makes my word valid.
And either you're going to take it or not.
And
if you don't, that's on you. That's not on me.
Right, because I have what I need. I was just giving you a little bit of what you could use.
And I'll just show up proving it. So, awesome.
Yeah.
So you talked about your professional voice, and you talked about, your chilling with your friend's voice. How did you decide what was that really authentic voiced?
Right.
What I'm assuming it was a hybrid of the two, but like how what was that process like?
It came with a lot of like unworking of things that were taught, maybe intentionally, maybe unintentionally, about being acceptable.
Okay.
And a lot of that goes to just being a black woman. And so, is my hair acceptable? Is my outfit or what I've chosen to wear today acceptable? Is the way I speak acceptable? And it's like, acceptable to who?
Yeah.
And I think
what would make it unacceptable?
Right. So I think for me, I know the event that was like, I'm done with this. My oldest son was in the 4th or 5th grade, and he had a teacher. She was sweet as pie, but she was from Long Island, an Italian girl from Long Island.
Okay.
No, South Philly. An Italian girl from South Philly.
Okay.
And you knew by the way she presented herself, but then when she opened her mouth, it was heavy. It was like very regional, right? And everyone's like, it's so, your accent is just so, and she would get all of these accolades and like praise, and it was really a selling point for her. And I'm like,
to let her South Philly show through. Okay.
And we as black women especially work really hard to carry that transatlantic nondescript accent, right?
Assimilation.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I mean, I'm not coming and giving the worst of my space and my world and my experience, but I don't have to come in and give you this for you to really understand that what I'm saying matters and is valuable.
Right.
I can do that all day, but it gives me a headache. It makes my throat hurt, and it makes me not love myself at the end of it all. And so I know what I'm talking about because I've done the work. Take it or leave it.
So you mentioned voice, tone of voice, and I'm assuming you mentioned hair. What other things, like when you think about showing up as your authentic self, you know, what you know now, what constitutes the authentic ℂ𝕇𝔼𝔼?
I'm silly. I like to have fun. I like a good placed, inappropriate joke here and there. And I think I especially with my clients, humor is one of my like best tools because things can get heavy sometimes.
Right.
And a great placed joke will ease that tension. I like to have fun. I am very compassionate, but I also am going to hold people accountable. Like, you don't have to like that I'm going to call you out, but I'm going to call you out. And I'm going to do it in a space where hopefully you can recognize that it's because I want the best for you.
Right.
Right. And even that, just showing up and presenting that I genuinely want the best for you. And that's it.
Yeah, showing up authentic is interesting because there are a lot of spaces where people become threatened if you show up authentically, or they have a lot of rules about what that looks like. You know, we don't want any tattoos. You can't color your hair. You know, you have to wear, a certain style of clothing, right? You can't wear your cheetah print, slippers in the office, right? That's what I can do because I own the place. But even so, if I didn't have my own place, I'd want to have a place where I could show up with my, cheetah print Uggs that I got for free by pilfering them from my daughter, and my hair could be whatever color.
Right.
I know it hasn't been done in a while, but we'll get back to that. It's got to get a little bit longer, but these are all things that make me me. I could wear my shirts with the different sayings, and the thought of having to go back to a space where that can't be is suffocating. It
is, and it is why people hate going to work. It's why people they step into spaces with their source being their passion, or their want to change the world, or their want to do this or do that, and then they go through that process, and it's like, I hate it here.
Yeah.
I have a client who's a young woman, freshly married, just finished her degrees, and it's got the career. She's like, it's a little stifling. It's not what I expected. When I got here, it wasn't what I expected I would feel like.
Right.
And that doesn't have to be the case.
Right. And how do you show up boldly and with a lot of curiosity and a lot of courage to be able to say, nope, this isn't working for me. Yes, this type of career is what I want, but I got to do it in a different space.
Right.
That's really, it takes a lot of guts to be able to do that.
It does, and I think that's kind of where I'm navigating now, in my day job, if you will, showing up boldly, advocating for a very delicate population without being off-putting, or without being, too, not radical, but,
Allow yourself to be fierce without creating harm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also calling out victimization where there was no harm.
Right.
Like you're not harmed, you're uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's a you thing. And we can talk about that, but I can't let your victimhood be more important than all of the stuff that needs to happen over here.
Right.
So, that's like a conversation for another.
I mean, getting to your authentic self is a journey, and
it is.
I think, it's important to remember that there's really not a destination. I think as time goes on, you get more comfortable with being uncomfortable and being authentic, but there's no arrival. At least there hasn't been for me in my lifetime. So, and I hope not, because then that for me would indicate that life's going to get dull pretty soon, which would be sad.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So hopefully everybody can show up and try to figure out how they can be their most authentic self. But remember, you can change your thoughts, discover your potential, and transform your life by focusing on your overall well-being. So until next time, continue working and being the best you possible, the best authentic you possible. Bye.